Top Gun 3 is on the way, according to Paramount, and their stock is soaring after having said so. No financial advice being given, but folks, it looks like Paramount is giving you a lot of movies, many, many more movies than anybody ever thought possible, and all because Skydance bought out the company. We'll explain what's going on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are flying high because you have stopped on by the Pro Channel, where we explain entertainment and indeed keep you ahead of the culture curve. This is the place where the drive-by media grabs their jumbo pencils and writes down the headlines of tomorrow, brought to you fresh today. As we get underway, click the like button. Top Gun 3, it looks that way. Here we go. Take a look at this out of Variety by Gene Maddow. What happened to Jon Voight's plan to save Hollywood? Well, folks, you might see that headline and think, now, Pro, what are we talking about here? Jon Voight saving Hollywood? What is this? Well, what if I told you that buried in this might be a connection to the forthcoming Top Gun 3? It says Voight's partners are hopeful a federal film incentive will be introduced in Congress this year. Now, down here, you can see Jon Voight on the left. You can see the orange man, President Trump, there with him. And the plan here is for, I suppose, the Trump administration to bail out Hollywood, to save Hollywood. And in the face of what's coming from AI, that makes a lot of sense that they might need to be saved. But who else is a friend of the Trumpster? Well, it just so happens to be the people who bought Paramount, the Ellisons who run Skydance. Big-time friends, big-time fans of Trump. And guess what, folks? At the same time that Voight is trying to save the film industry, and we believe the box office, we believe the theater, Paramount is going all in on the theater, specifically theatrical releases. In fact, the Ellisons just declared that they're going all in away from streaming when it comes to movies and fully, totally, 1,000% behind the box office. Out of Deadline by Justin Kroll and Anthony D'Alessandro, Paramount's movie priorities under new Skydance owners include Top Gun 3, Star Trek, and more. Execs expound on vision. Now, here's what I think is happening. I think Paramount knows that where you want to be to get a hold of whatever this is that Jon Voight and President Trump have planned for later the year is releasing big-time movies. And that's why they're going after Tom Cruise. Just hours after the Skydance Paramount merger closed last week, the new studio leadership group led by co-chairs Josh Greenstein and Dana Goldberg sent a loud message to the town that they meant business, closing deals with Timothée Chalamet and the James Mangold package High Side, which Deadline first told you about. It was a bold move and a bolt of energy that told the town Paramount 2.0 was not looking to cut back on its upcoming feature slate, but instead go bigger, go bolder. Quote, one of our biggest priorities is restoring Paramount as the #1 studio for filmmakers and talent in the world, Paramount's new CEO, David Ellison, said today at the media gathering. Quote, great filmmakers make great movies. For us, we're going to strategically scale the amount of content for our streaming service as well as studios. The new entertainment conglomerate, which prevented a further collapsing of the motion picture studios, even had the #1 exhibition boss, AMC's Adam Aron, giddy on an earnings call Monday about the prospects for more movies on the big screen. Paramount in recent years has averaged 11 to 14. Greenstein said during today's presser that the goal is for 15 movies a year as soon as possible and 20 movies a year in the near future. Now remember, Paramount is run by people who are closely associated with Trump. Trump has Jon Voight figuring out a federal film incentive that's going to be introduced later this year, we believe, connected to releasing at the box office, not just streaming. So what is Paramount doing? What are Trump's buddies up to over at Skydance? Well, it looks like Top Gun 3. In fact, Ellison's Skydance had a tremendous amount to do with the success, having financed 50% of Top Gun Maverick. No doubt making Top Gun 3 a reality will be a prime to-do for Greenstein, Goldberg, and Granger. Guys, they're after Star Trek and Top Gun, and they mean to win. They mean to do business. Warner Brothers has been leapfrogging Disney at the box office this summer. Paramount wants to rejuvenate theaters, and I believe it's because they know that the Trump administration wants to save the cinemas as well. Guys, what do you think about the idea that it's looking very likely we get a Top Gun 3 announcement in the not so distant future? Are you excited for Tom Cruise to be back in planes again?
I think it's smart to dive back into the theaters. The theaters is where Hollywood should be focusing instead of streaming. Because listen, if you really want to revive the Hollywood industry, you got to start with the theaters. You got to get people excited about movies. Top Gun Maverick was phenomenal. That came out, right, just at the tail end of the pandemic, and people loved it. They made it $1 billion movie. Tom Cruise is one of the last few major movie stars still remaining, in my opinion, along with Leo and Brad Pitt. He's a guy that'll, if you put him in the right, movie and the right project, he's going to bring the noise. He's going to bring a lot of people into the house. So yeah, I think this is smart. I think this is great. And I hope Paramount is, I don't know about Star Trek, because Star Trek's got a lot of problems right now. And, they got to really straighten that out first. But I think Tom Cruise is definitely the way to go. Another Top Gun movie would get me, definitely pumped up about Paramount's prospects. And yeah, you're right, Pro. Warner Brothers is starting to leapfrog Disney. Disney is lost in the sauce. They're woke. People are kind of tired of Disney properties. They want to see something new hit the theaters. And so, yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's great news that Top Gun 3 is being discussed. Hopefully it gets made, because we always rumors, they're going to make it. They're not going to. And they need to hit a home run somewhere in the movie theaters in the next couple of years. It's not going to be from Disney. I don't think Disney is capturing the cultural zeitgeist like they used to. And so it's going to be someone else. It's going to be either Paramount, Warner Brothers, Universal. Another one of these studios is going to hit that home run. And I think, honestly, Top Gun, the first one is a classic. The second one was great. Obviously, Maverick. I'm looking forward. I hope Top Gun 3 comes out because I love the first two.
And Derek, this new Paramount Skydance company, after merging together, new company.
Yeah.
It's just, if you look at the 6 month, it's the same as what we're looking at now. If you look at the year to date, same as now. 1 year, 5 year doesn't matter because it doesn't go out that long. It just got made. But investors seem very happy with the aggressiveness that we've seen out of the Ellisons, out of Paramount Skydance. These announcements that we're getting, the stuff about the Trek and about Top Gun 3, and they're going to go for 20 movies a year at the box office. They're going to increase, all the stuff they're doing, canceling Colbert, doubling down on South Park. The stock, since they merged together, has just been a darling with investors. No financial advice being given, but it's up almost 30% since the thing was announced. People love this.
People want something. People are excited, and they want to believe in Hollywood again. Like I've been talking about on my channel, Eastern entertainment. You talk about K-pop Demon Hunters, you talk about anime, everything that's coming out of the East is lapping Western entertainment. The Western companies have no idea how to tap in to younger audiences. They're getting lost. They're getting absolutely destroyed right now. So it's exciting when you see, Paramount doing things to say, hey, we're going to try to, make movies that go into theaters. Everybody's trying to rush their movies to, PVOD. We're going to leave them in theaters, and we want theatrical release. That's Americana right there, right? That's America. That's what we used to do, so people can believe in something again and get excited about the movie theaters. And I'm sure the exhibitors are loving this. Like, yes, thank you. We'd love to see movies in theaters because everybody's just talking about streaming. And, got to be honest, streaming has been eating the theatrical lunch, as of late. Everybody's focused on streaming. Everything's going to streaming. Superman just went 35 days, to streaming. It's ridiculous. So we got to start getting back to going to the movies because I feel like that's a part of our culture. We go to movies, we go to movies. We enjoy it as a collective whole, as a community, whatever the case may be. That's our culture here in America. And I love to see Paramount, kind of locking in on that. It's really good to see.
Lauren, how much pressure gets placed on Disney if Star Trek takes off and Star Wars is languishing? How much pressure gets put on Disney if you've got Tom Cruise running laps around him with, another Top Gun movie? Warner Brothers has been beating them, and I don't like what's happening with Superman. I'll say that, absolutely, Derek. But I also think Paramount, maybe they know something. Like I don't want to say they've got an inside understanding of whatever it is Trump and John Voight are doing, but for them to be going this heavy in the paint, doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the box office, kind of looks to me like they got some knowledge. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I'm not as willing to ascribe this to Trump and Voight's actions as maybe you are. There may be something there. I don't know for sure if that's the case. I think it's a matter of survival. I think that Paramount was in some real serious trouble, and I think they do recognize that where they really need to be is the theaters, and that streaming is really hurting them. And I've said for a long time, what needed to happen was one of the studios needed to start breaking from the pack. And once they have done so, it gives the others permission to do so. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. I think that's a good thing. I think that if they really do go all in on trying to make sure that they have theatrical releases, if they extend the theatrical releases, if they can get things more profitable for the actual theaters so that they survive, and if they can get the costs down a little bit on the tickets and concessions, that would be really nice. The crowds will come roaring back. The other component of that is give the audience the product they want. Give us the entertainment we want. You do those things, and all will be forgiven. But until they do that, they're going to continue to struggle.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this too, Lauren and Wizard, we're getting some info. This is starting to come out now. According to the director, Top Gun 3 will be the last ride of Tom Cruise's Maverick as he goes through an existential crisis. Third movie is currently being written. So this is moving quickly. I mean, this is going fast. I love it. I love this. This feels like we're going back in time, and the studios are finally saying, let's get the audience. Let's get the fans. We've been so lazy with superheroes. I am ready for this. Bring it on, Wiz. What say you?
You know, playing off of everything that Lauren said and Derek said, which I agree 100%. You know, we need to be going back to theaters, and we need to be supporting studios that deserve support. But people wouldn't have a problem going to theaters if they just made good movies that were worth seeing twice. And I think making them with the mindset of seeing the movie twice. With a lot of the movies that have come out in 2025 this year, most of them that I think I've definitely seen, there's no rewatchability for any of them, for any studio. It's not even just Paramount. Why did Maverick work so well? Why did Top Gun Maverick make so much money? You had people seeing it 2, 3, sometimes 4, sometimes even more times because it had insane rewatchability in an era where nothing has rewatchability. We look at Weapons, which is in theater right now. Finally, an outlier, something that makes you think. I may not have loved Act 3 and the ending, but it made me think. It gives you something to think about, to really and then you want to go and see it again because there's more to catch on your second viewing. Nothing Hollywood is making now is worth watching a second time. So yeah, things like Superman going to streaming, can't say I'm surprised. Everybody's been conditioned to just watch things on streaming.
Well, hang on a second. Why? Because you and Derek and Lauren, I think you're all concerned about that, as am I. Why? Why do you think that they're doing that? Because Superman was having mid-40s, low 40% holds weekend to weekend. Like, I don't see why they pulled it. If it's embarrassing like Fantastic Four has been, that's one thing. But money was being made.
I think it's a strategy from the studios. They want to still capitalize off of that marketing that they spent. You know, like you think about how much money they spent on the Superman marketing, from the beginning of the year, really up until now. If they let it sit out of, they want to kind of capitalize on that marketing. And so if they release it on VOD while it's still within like 30 days, 35 days, 40 days, it's still fresh on everybody's minds. Everybody's saying, oh yeah, Superman is still kind of out in theaters, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a strategy right now that a lot of theaters are doing. We saw the same thing with Jurassic World Dominion. Even though Jurassic World Dominion is profitable, it's making money, it's not a flop, but they still released it within 30 days or 32 days or 33 days. So I think this is a new strategy that studios are employing to try to, one, not have to remarket the movie once again. Like, okay, we got to go back and sell it and make more trailers and promote it once again after 90, 100 days or whatever. I think that's number one. But then number two, while it's still kind of hot and everybody's talking about the movie and everybody still can go and see it in theaters, oh, you can go and get it on, on PVOD, and I think that's a major mistake, because what you're doing is training your audience to stay at home. This movie's going to come out in the next 30 to 35 days or 40 days. I can wait 6-7 weeks. That's not going to be a problem. I can wait that long until this movie drops. So I think studios are making a giant mistake. They're chasing the dollars now, but I think what they're doing is they're cooking the theaters. Number one, they're cooking the theaters because the theaters are suffering, and then ultimately they're just making their own product less desirable, because it's like, well, I'll just wait for it to drop on VOD and then I'll get it then. And so they're going to start losing the theaters. The theaters, in my opinion, if they keep this up, the theaters are going to be an afterthought.
Wizard, you were wanting on that? Join in, sir. What do you got?
No, I think to DA's point, it's already, the genie's out of the bottle. The audience is not being conditioned. They're conditioned to just stay home, because there's nothing worth going to the theaters for. It's just, even if it's just Superman. Oh, well, Superman was on the CW, and there was a lot of trouble with Man of Steel. There was a lot of controversy there. And it's another Superman. Just put it on streaming, because then, like Derek said, we don't have to market it again. Everybody's still talking about it, and they're running out of those positive headlines to keep spinning of milestones. So let's get it out on streaming as fast as possible. Cash in on that. But to pivot back to this Paramount thing, they can make as many movies for theaters as they want. That does not guarantee that audiences will return to theaters if they're not good enough to get butts in seats. It is a big ask today. I've seen a lot of the movies we all have here. They are not worth our time to go to the theater for. Whether it's Disney or Warner Brothers, they're not worth your time at home watching either. It's fine to just sit on your couch and watch it on your $600, $700 television, which runs everything in 4K anyway. You're getting the better quality. You don't have to deal with the people. You don't got to drive 30 minutes. The floors aren't as sticky. You make whatever snacks you want. You can have dinner watching the movies. It is too much of an expense with not enough value delivered. And unfortunately, Hollywood gets what Hollywood deserves, but so do the theaters. And I don't think they're keeping up with what people want. Expectations are higher, but that's only because you started charging more money.
Now, the exception to that seems to me to be when they turn it into an event. So, when they do the chicken jockey thing with Minecraft, the kids went crazy. Everybody wanted to be in the theater to experience that kind of thing. There is something happening in theaters this weekend that I want to bring attention to, and that is, folks, this is legit. I mean, sometimes these things are fake when they put them out. K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along is going crazy. Theaters are literally selling out, and this is legit. This is not faking it. You can actually see the theater that they're referencing. K-pop Demon Hunters, likely headed to be the #1 Netflix movie of all time, turning it into a sing-along where all the fans can come together. That creates an experience that you can't have at home. Smart play by Netflix. The opposite, I think, of what has happened with Superman. This is a genius move. This is what theaters and studios need to do. They need to make experiences that you share together. All right, panel, final thoughts on all of this. And, it's amazing all the stuff we've covered in a segment that could literally just be Top Gun 3 is on the way. But there's been so much to say. Guys, final thoughts.
Yeah, with this, as you said, Pro, with K-pop Demon Hunters, it's showing people want the collective experience. People want to love things together. People don't want to sit at home watching a movie by themselves on Netflix or on PVOD, if they don't have to. But Fake Wizard said, there's nothing worth going to the theaters to see. We see movies one time and we're done. I remember going to Avengers, in Infinity War and Endgame, and it was such an amazing collective experience where you're sharing moments. I walked out of Infinity War and I was talking in the lobby for about 45 minutes with random strangers that I've never met before in my entire life. And we're just talking and we're hanging out and we're just talking about the movie and how much of an amazing experience it was. It's a collective community experience. We got to get people back into theaters. I hope Paramount can figure this out and make movies that people will care about and love. I've gone to see Weapons twice, and I'll probably go and see it again because it is that good of a movie. But I think that's what's missing out of the movie going experience is the collective love and community of going to movies, hanging out, talking about it. You know, you want that back in the movie. So I hope they get it done because I think that's very important to the culture of this country.
Absolutely. All right, folks, that's where we'll leave it for now. But boy, oh boy, I cannot wait. Things are heating up. It's an arms race. And can you believe it? Back in the theaters. It's like going back in time. We'll see what's going to be coming down the line from the studios. You know, we really hope that you felt this video was satisfactual. We know we had an actual good time participating and communicating with each and every one of you out there listening. It is a great honor. It is a great pleasure, even a responsibility to do this on a daily basis. You give us the dream job we love doing, and for that we can never say thank you enough. There's only one small favor we ask beyond what has already been done, and that is, folks, consider it. That is clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It's the notification bell. And drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts because your thoughts do indeed matter no matter what the mainstream media would otherwise say. Folks, as we say every single time we end these videos, because we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun.
Want it all, so I give them cannonball. Yeah!
Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio.
Arizona. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be a free taste of you and me.
What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.